Fan Film Productions presents Star Trek Voyager, The Lost Episodes. Episode 1, Ghosts. Starring Liam Haworth Mulgrew as Captain Janeway, Joan Wiseman as Kes, Mario Rodriguez as the Doctor, Brent Allen as Harry Kim, David Whitney as Chakotay, Stephen Parnell as Tuvok, Adrian Grady as B'Elanna Torres, Jim Von Dolteren as Tom Paris, Todd Gwynn as Vorik, Star Trek and Star Trek Voyager are owned by CBS and Paramount Studios. No ownership is implied in this audio drama created by Fan Film Productions. Episode 1, Ghosts. Deck 15. Harry Kim stumbles as an explosion erupts around him. He sees himself carrying Samantha Wildman's baby through the spatial rift. On the bridge, Janeway stands at the foot of her command chair, looking down at a dead Vidian soldier.
Damage report.
All the Vidians on board have been killed. Long-range communications are offline. Several plasma relays are in danger of collapse. We are running on auxiliary power.
Captain, we have no antimatter. We can't use the warp engines.
What about impulse and thrusters?
No damage, but we're so low on power that using the impulse engines will kill our reserves.
Captain, the Vidian ship has sustained heavy damage.
Life signs.
Bioscanners are not responding.
Captain, the other Voyagers jumped to warp. They're almost out of range of short-range sensors.
B'Elanna, try to contact the other Voyager. Mr. Vorik, throw these dead Vidians off this ship. However you can.
Security teams to the bridge.
Computer, locate Lieutenant Tuvok and Mr. Paris.
Lieutenant Tuvok and Mr. Paris are in the sick bay.
I'll be in sickbay. Chakotay, you have the bridge.
Janeway wipes the sweat off her brow while rushing down the corridor. Worried and alarmed crewmen dodge past her. Several of them are carrying Vidian corpses. In sickbay, a despondent Samantha Wildman stares at the floor as Janeway enters the room. The doctor is talking gently to Samantha, who is recovering from emergency surgery to put the organs back into her body that the Vidians removed.
Ensign, I'm sorry your child's not on the ship, but at least she's on the other Voyager.
Wildman just sits there. She tries to nod her agreement, but it just looks like a shudder. The doctor sees Janeway and raises his hand to ward her off. Now is not a good time. He approaches the captain.
How is she?
As well as can be expected for someone who was dead and had her child taken away from her.
How are Paris and Tuvok?
The Vidians knocked them out with a cellular disruptor designed to induce a deep coma. I've already placed the organs that the Vidians took out back into their bodies. I couldn't have done it without their own tools. It'll take a few hours before I can revive them.
Very good, Doctor. Keep me informed.
Of course, Captain.
Just then, the sickbay doors open, and a frantic Harry Kim runs through with a crying baby.
Harry.
Captain, I didn't make it through to the other Voyager, but I did, I think. I've been trapped behind a containment field for a few minutes.
Harry, try to calm down. What are you talking about?
I was taking the baby through to the other Voyager when the ship lurched and I nearly dropped her. The next thing I saw was myself running through the rift, but I don't understand. I thought you put this ship on self-destruct.
I did. Either the warp core explosion so near the rift caused a reduplication, or the ship was protected from the blast because we are still slightly out of phase.
Samantha Wildman sees her baby in Harry's arms and jumps up and quickly takes it, looking relieved and alarmed.
Doctor.
Yes, Captain.
Tell me who this is. Is this the Harry Kim I sent to the other ship?
The doctor takes a medical tricorder to Harry's chest and waves it around.
Very interesting.
Then the doctor scans Janeway, then Wildman. With that, the doctor turns the instrument on himself.
Well,
That's strange. You all seem to be slightly out of phase. My holomatrix has been affected as well.
So does this mean that the first duplicate ship was destroyed in the explosion?
We watched another Voyager leave the area on our view screen just now. Harry, get to the bridge and make sure we don't run into any more phase bubbles. If we are no longer occupying the same space as the other Voyager, a bubble could transport someone off the ship. Let's make sure that doesn't happen.
Yes, Captain.
We've got to get out of this area. Bridge, get us farther away from the plasma drift.
Voyager finally moves out of the plasma cloud. Nearby, a small Vidian cruiser hangs adrift in space that has been caught in the other Vidian ship's explosion. Voyager slowly pulls alongside the vessel. Half an hour later, all senior staff have reported the main conference room to deliver their reports. Kim, Neelix, Janeway, Vorik, Torres, Chakotay, and the doctor on screen.
Report.
I think I can explain why we weren't destroyed in the warp core breach.
Go ahead.
I think the warp core explosion destroyed the Vidians the same way our photon bursts were affecting the other Voyager, since it was an antimatter detonation, and the antimatter was what was holding the two Voyagers together at a subspace phase variant. Only the Vidians were affected, but now our antimatter is completely gone.
That makes sense to me.
It appears we were pushed further out of phase during the event. Our spatial frequency is closer to the other Voyager before the breach than ours was before it happened. I was able to run a static phase scan of the other Voyager's shields before it left the area. They may have shifted back to normal space.
Can we contact them?
I haven't been able to reach the other Voyager. I've tried every frequency and configuration. I've even tried the emergency channel. The equipment is working, but it's like the other ship has just disappeared. If what Vorik says is right, and we are even farther out of phase than before, we may never reach the other ship before they're out of range.
Captain, the entire crew seems to be slightly out of phase.
Can we do anything about it? If we pulled ourselves back into phase, perhaps we could communicate with the other Voyager.
We are slowly moving back into phase, but it will take some time.
How long?
If our calculations are correct, it'll take about 30 days.
30 days?
Most of our systems are back online except the warp engines. We have impulse drive and shields, but we are running on backup power until the antimatter is replenished.
Mr. Vorik, until we move back into normal phase, does that mean we are invisible to the Vidians?
No one in standard space-time can see us, Captain.
Any ideas on contacting the other Voyager?
Maybe we could take a shuttle. Oh, wait, no antimatter.
Are there any shuttles on the damaged Vidian ship?
There are 3 shuttles, but they only have a maximum speed of warp 2.
Well, people, looks like we may be stuck here for a while.
While the other Voyager sails home.
With 30 days head start.
Then we will focus on getting our Voyager and its warp engines operational. And that damaged Vidian ship and its shuttles are now ours. Neelix, where's Kez?
I thought you knew, Captain. She's in sickbay. She's not feeling very good.
Kess has been given something to relieve her nausea, but I've decided to run a full examination.
And why is that, Doctor?
Her bioelectrical readings are even more out of phase than the rest of the crew. I want to make sure it's safe for her to resume her duties.
I see. Keep me informed. Gentlemen, better head over to that Vidian ship before another Vidian ship shows up. I'll be going over too. Alana, we'll be going to the engineering deck. Neelix, collect weapons. Chakotay, work with the doctor and get any medical tools from the Vidians you can find. Dismissed.
In the turbolift, Chakotay confers with Janeway.
Captain, I'm curious.
What about?
Our looting of the Vidian vessel. That's not standard Federation procedure.
No, it's not. A lot has changed in the last few hours, and I've begun to think we might need to change the way we look at our situation.
Why would we want to do that, exactly?
There is another ship. In fact, our exact duplicate. It's on its way to the Alpha Quadrant. We are hoping to resume course once we have made repairs, but we may never be able to catch them. It might make more sense to watch more carefully for wormholes, or for the other caretaker, or who knows what else. For all intents and purposes, we should have been destroyed in the warp core breach. But here we are. Duplicates. Or duplicates of duplicates.
Captain, I have been thinking along the same lines. We are still the same people, and we should keep our same values. But I also have been scanning for more of the high-grade dilithium. I may have found trace amounts in the sector.
There are several things we have not looked at closer while on our merry way to the Alpha Quadrant, and the Vidians have been the aggressors in this sector for some time. And you know how I feel about bullies. Staying in this sector for a while may be a course we should take. There is no telling what we may encounter, or what we may have missed. If the Vidians need this sector, there must be a reason.
Or they would have wandered off to find more races to plunder. The two reach the transporter room. Vorik is waiting on the transporter pad. Ensign, beam us all to the bridge of the Vidian ship.
Yes, Commander.
Energize.
Soon Chakotay and Vorik are rummaging through the Vidian vessel, searching for medical technology. Chakotay taps his comm badge. Chakotay to the doctor.
How's the search going, Commander?
I'm not sure. There are instruments here, but of what kind I can't say. This appears to be either a sickbay or a morgue, or something in between.
Can you just take all the instruments?
Will do. No telling what we may have here. Vorik pulls a sheet off a bulky table, revealing a large black cylinder. At one end of it, there is a dark window and an access panel. There are lights flashing in unison, an operation panel. Vorik peers into the glass. He sees the mutilated face of a Vidian.
Commander,
What have you found?
I think it is a cryostatic chamber, and it is occupied.
Chakotay holds his tricorder out and waves it at the cylinder. He's alive. Just then the lights on the panel change from orange to a light blue. His life signs are becoming more pronounced. He is reviving. Mr. Vorik, ready phasers. Minutes pass and a hatch opens with a slight hiss. The blue lights are now gray. The Vidian male climbs out of the tank and stands. Don't move or we will stun you. The Vidian ignores him and walks over to the wall and taps a button. Halt! Are our translators functioning?
Yes.
Chakotay motions for Vorik to lower his weapon. The Vidian continues to speak into the comm system panel. Chakotay slowly walks up behind him and reaches out with his hand, and with a pointed finger, taps on his shoulder. The alien looks around, appearing to be startled. Then he wanders into the corridor. He can't see us or hear us, but he can feel us. Let's see what he does next. Inside the Vidian shuttlecraft, Harry is working on a computer terminal, sorting out the commands.
Well, Tom, it looks like you get a chance to hotwire a space shuttle.
I just hope these things have the maneuverability of our own shuttles. Harry, can you get the bay doors open so we can fly out of here? We need to get all 3 of these ships over to our dock as soon as we can, just in case more Vidians show up.
You sure you're ready to fly this thing?
No. Let's go for it.
On the Vidian engineering deck,
It's no good, Captain. Their warp technology is totally incompatible from our own. It would take weeks to figure out how to retrofit anything from this ship into Voyager.
What about the source of power?
There is a lot of damage to the major systems. Most of them have been burned out. It's like a turkey on Thanksgiving Day that's been picked clean.
in the corridor. Chakotay to Captain Janeway.
Yes, Commander.
We have company, Captain. We found a Vidian crewman in stasis. He's revived, but he's not able to sense our presence or see us. We're watching him to see what he's going to do.
He can't see you.
It seems that to him we are completely invisible, although we are able to touch him. I touched his shoulder and he about fell over.
Where is he now?
He appears to be headed toward your location.
We may be able to learn something from this Vidian by watching him try to get his systems back online.
We could record every move he makes.
The tired Vidian stumbles onto the engineering deck, looking around at the mess and shaking his head. With all 4 Starfleet officers avoiding his steps, he makes his way to a panel and begins to work on it. B'Elanna holds her tricorder a few feet from his head.
Ensign, stay here with Torres and record every move he makes. Stun him if you suspect he has detected you. Chakotay, let's get back to the ship and see how things are going.
I should take these medical instruments to the doctor. In sickbay, the doctor is leaning over a bed. Kes is lying there unconscious. Chakotay enters carrying a bag. Tuvok, still wearing his medical clothing, is leaning near Kes. Doctor, where do you want these things?
Commander, I'm glad you're here. We have a problem. Kes is slipping into a coma.
What happened?
Ever since she started complaining about nausea, things have slowly gotten worse. Her brain is active and seems to be trying to protect itself.
Why would that send her into a coma?
Her body is shutting down. Her brain has been systematically shutting down her organs. Her breathing has almost completely stopped.
Can we place her in stasis until we know what is happening to her?
I already tried that. It has something to do with the phase shift. Her unique physiology has gone into hyperprotection. If we don't do something to sustain her mind, we may lose her completely.
What about Tuvok?
What about him?
Tuvok, maybe you can mind meld with Kess. See if you can communicate with her.
In my weakened state, it may be difficult, but I will try.
Then do it now. We'd better inform the captain.
Where is Neelix?
I sent him to his quarters. He was becoming unreasonable.
My mind to your mind.
Somewhere deep in Kess's conscience, the forest was humid and leaves were dripping with dew. There was a light breeze filled with pollen and sweet scents. Kess was walking on a path, which wound through the trees. Her feet are bare. The path suddenly joined with two other walkways, leaves on dirt. Suddenly, there was another pair of feet beside her.
Kess, can you hear me?
Tuvok, how did you find me?
You are in sickbay. I am performing a mind meld.
I knew you would come. Thank you, Tuvok.
Do you know what is happening to you?
No, I've been here for as long as I can remember. Or maybe a few minutes. I can't tell. But my stomach doesn't hurt anymore.
Kess, I have disturbing news.
I was afraid you were going to say that. Let's sit down here on the grass.
The doctor asked me to come speak with you. The phase shift seems to have sent your mind into protection, but your body is not going to survive.
You've been listening to Star Trek Voyager, The Lost Episodes, Episode 1, Ghosts, Part 1, written by David Whitney. Brought to you by Fan Film Productions and Starfleet Studios. Coming soon, Part 2 of Ghosts.